Welcome you all. In the last class we discussed the centrifugal pumps, the work done and the different phenomena that occur in the centrifugal pumps like priming, cavitation, pre-rotation and slip. So in this class we are going to study further more concepts, and the first one is the multi-stage pumps. So what are multi-stage pumps? Multi-stage pumps are those pumps in which there is more than one rotor, right, or more than one impeller to be correct, right. Categorically what happens, there can be a need that we need a very high amount of head to be developed or a very high amount of discharge to be delivered, right. In those cases what happens, it may not be sufficient or it may not be feasible for taking the work using only a single pump which is quite large, because a large pump is always costly, plus so in order to achieve higher discharge I cannot go on increasing the delivery angle, right. The beta 2 cannot be increased more than 45 degree, which will decrease the total efficiency, right. So because of all these factors, what do? We mount different impellers on the same shaft and call them as multi-stage pumps. So based on our requirements, so our requirements can be of two types: higher head or higher discharge. So what happens, whenever we arrange pumps in series, all the heads gets added up and we can achieve very high amount of head, say more than 50 meter, 60 meter, so or maybe 100 meter in some cases. So in those cases we will arrange the pumps in series to achieve very high amount of head. Similarly, when we arrange those pumps in parallel, we get very high amount of discharge, because when we arrange the same pumps on the same shaft, what happens, the discharge gets added up and discharge will increase automatically. So that is about the multi-stage pumps. Coming to the efficiencies that are there in the pump, we must notice that the efficiencies that come here are almost inverses of the efficiencies that we discussed in the turbine parts, because only the numerator and denominator gets exchanged, but furthermore nothing is new, all the concepts remain same. So let us come to the first efficiency, which is mechanical efficiency. So we all know what is mechanical efficiency. It is the output by input, isn't it? So what is the output here? It is the power developed by the impeller. What is the input? The shaft power is the input that we supply, right? So if I can write it in the terms, I shall say U2 VU2 by GC is the power delivered by the impeller, or power developed by the impeller, or head developed, or pressure change, right? All these terms are true for that, divided by the same plus the mechanical losses, right? So generally mechanical efficiency will be close to 100 because of all the sophistications that has taken place in the material world. So mechanical efficiency will almost be 100% in most of the cases there, right? Coming to the volumetric efficiency. Volumetric efficiency, what is it? It is the ratio of the amount of, or the discharge of water which is at the delivery side to the discharge developed or pressure developed at the suction side, right? So it is QD divided by QD plus QL. What is QL here? QL is the amount of leakage, right? The pump, when developing the suction pressure, it takes, say for example, QS amount of water into the impeller, but all the water sucked into the impeller will not be delivered, some amount will be leaked, right? So that is known as QL, the leakage part, right? That is taken as loss, right? So it is the ratio of the discharge delivered to the discharge taken into the impeller. That is what is known as volumetric efficiency. Next one is the hydraulic efficiency, or the manometric efficiency, it is also known as. Now, while discussing the terminology of the centrifugal pumps, we know that the whole pump works against a head called manometric head, isn't it? What is manometric head? It is the total head which the pump has to overcome in order to start pumping, isn't it? So we have to Note that what is this manometric efficiency? It is the ratio of manometric head to the Euler's head. What is Euler's head? Euler's head we already know. It is the head or the pressure difference which is developed by the impeller of the centrifugal pump, isn't it? So it is the total head against which the pump is working to the head which is getting developed at the impeller. That is what is known as manometric efficiency. It is also called hydraulic efficiency, isn't it? So I can write it as G into H manometric divided by U2 VU2 divided by GC, which is the Euler's head. Or in other terms, I can also express this in terms of manometric head as total manometric head divided by manometric head plus there are certain losses, right? Losses due to shock, eddy current and all those losses, isn't it? Or in other words, I can say Euler's head minus losses divided by the total Euler's head, isn't it? So this is what is known as manometric efficiency or the hydraulic efficiency. The amount of head against which pump is working to the amount of head which is developed at the impeller. That is what is known as hydraulic efficiency. Coming to the overall efficiency, it is the product of the mechanical efficiency, the hydraulic efficiency and the volumetric efficiency. Right? So let us move on to the important concept known as the minimum starting speed. Now we know whenever we start the pump, what happens? The pump has to overcome a certain head known as manometric head. This has to be overcome by the pump, right? So it has to develop certain pressure difference so that it will overcome this. So what is the head that it develops? The head that it develops or the static pressure change that it develops is U2 square divided by U1 square divided by 2G, isn't it? So this we have discussed in this module 2 itself. This is the pressure difference or the energy which is developed at the impeller because of its centrifugal motion. Understood? So this has to be at least greater than or equal to manometric head. Then only the pump starts pumping. Suction will happen. Otherwise, if the head developed by the pump is less than manometric head, there will not be any suction at all. Right? So in that case, what happens? Let us take the minimum condition here. Which is the minimum condition here? Greater than or equal to? Equal to is the minimum condition. That is U2 square minus U1 square divided by 2G. So let me say at least it is equal to manometric head. Right? So what is manometric head? We have discussed the efficiency factor. So manometric head is manometric efficiency into the Euler's head. Right? Now let us say what is U2? U2 is pi d2n square divided by 60. Right? Pi square d2 square minus pi square d1 square n square divided by 60 square whole divided by 2G. So what do I do now? I will take pi n by 60 square as common and then I shall say what remains? d2 square minus d1 square whole divided by 2G is what is remaining. So which is equal to manometric efficiency into the Euler's head. Right? So now this n becomes n minimum when this n becomes n minimum which for which condition? For this condition, the minimum condition. Right? This is known as the minimum speed condition. So therefore, I shall modify and write n minimum is equal to 60 by pi whole square into 2G which goes to the numerator into manometric efficiency into Euler's head divided by d2 square minus d1 square whole under the root. So this is the equation for the minimum starting speed for any pump in order to start working or start the suction. So going to the next concept, which is hub diameter and tip diameter. Basically in the problems you will come across as you need to find out the hub diameter and the tip diameter. So the tip diameter d and the hub diameter small d, right? So what are these hub and tip diameters? So basically the tip diameter is the total diameter of the impeller and the hub diameter is the diameter at which it is connected to the shaft, right? So this is the hub diameter and this is the tip diameter. As you can see in this diagram, if this is the impeller, right, this is a cross section of a closed impeller, right? So here you can see the blades, right? So this is the hub diameter, the diameter at which it is connected to the shaft, and this is the tip diameter, which is the outer diameter, you can say that also.